Student, I think Sanket Rathod is there. He asked one question in the chat box that social science and artificial science are same. Are they same? So basically, we need to understand that social science is the study of human behavior, and the artificial science is something we are taking help of computer, and computer is taking decision. Everybody knows about the terminology called artificial intelligence. So it is nothing but the artificial intelligence where the decision has been made by the computer, and the human or the human behavior is something, the decision taken within the scenario of social science. But when it comes to the artificial intelligence, we can say that the whatever input we are giving to that computer is given by a human only. So the precision level of artificial intelligence or the artificial science might be more, but there are some restrictions. So if you take an example, if you want to buy a computer and while you don't have any idea, you are going to use your social science or what type of computer you want, which color you want, how you want their look. That that is the concern of social science, and what how much RAM you require, what type of work you are going to do. So which computer might be more useful or compatible for you. That decision can be taken by artificial intelligence. So this is the basic difference between the social science and the artificial science. And before we start, there is one more term. It's called behavioral economics. So behavioral economics asks question about the economic decision that people make. Okay, so they are going to ask question that why you are buying this, why you want that, and at what price you like to buy. Such type of question we ask, and that study of this question or the analysis of this question is called as a behavioral science. Do individual always act in their own way of best interest when it comes to maybe maximizing, utilizing, or efficiency and value of that product? So this is the basic difference between what is social science, what is artificial science, and the behavioral economics. Now, before we start today's lecture, the today's topic is theory of supply and demand. So we need to understand the term what is supply, what is demand, and we can say that this is the backbone of economics because supply and demand perhaps one of the most fundamental concepts of economics. Okay, and it is a backbone of market economy. But before we start, we need to understand two terminology which is not in our syllabus. Maybe sometimes they do ask this question: what is microeconomics and what is macroeconomics? MICRO and MACRO. Okay, these two terms are entirely different. How they work, that we will see first. Both microeconomics and macroeconomics involve examining the economic behavior, that you need to understand, but they differ in terms of scale of the subject being studied. Scale of the subject being studied is at what level we are going to apply microeconomics and what level we are going to apply the macroeconomics. When we say microeconomics, it is the field of economics that took at the economic behavioral of maybe individual, at household, or maybe small scale industry or companies or any individual company. It is applicable where individual household and small companies are in picture. But when it comes to the macroeconomics, it is a wider view. And look at the economics on such a larger scale is like suppose regional, maybe national, or maybe even at a global state. So microeconomics has a broad focus, such as the impact of fiscal policy, big picture causes of unemployment, or maybe what is the effect of inflation, or at the same time we can say that now government are thinking what is the impact of COVID-19 on economics. So the study of that is called as a microeconomics. But what is the effect of this COVID-19 on every household or every individual family? That might be different, or study of that particular thing is called as microeconomics. Microeconomics and macroeconomics are the vast areas they study on their own rights. That is the basic difference about micro and macroeconomics. Now coming back to the theory of supply and demand, what is demand? It is referred to how much quantity of the product or service is desired by buyer. Okay. Because when you go to the shop, when you go anywhere else, if you want to buy something, you demand. But in which quantity you demand, that is the basic question. So that demand term is very important. The quantity demanded is nothing but the amount of a product people are willing to buy at a certain price. If you are going to buy a onion, it's a very natural phenomena. The fluctuation in the price of onion is very much observable. Okay, means it fluctuate a lot. Suppose if you go to the market and if you want to buy a onion, surprisingly you come to know that the onion cost is 50 kg, 50 rupees per kg. So what you will do? You used to buy 2 kg or 3 kgs, but what you are going to do now? You will like to buy only 1 kg because the price is very high, because you don't want to buy at any cost. You have certain cost or certain price of that commodity in mind, and accordingly you are going to buy that commodity or a product. The relationship between price and the quantity demanded, but the demand relationship. First of all, we need to understand what is demand. Demand is nothing but the quantity of the product or the service is desired by the buyer or maybe the customer. Quantity required, because it is not like that you have demand of something and you like to buy whatever you want as per your demand. It is not like that. It is somewhere subjected or related with the price also. That's why we are ready to buy it at a certain price. That's why it is very important term. And the price and the quantity, the relationship of price and quantity demanded, that is nothing but your demand relationship. Now, what is quantity demanded is the amount of goods that buyers are willing or able to purchase. This is quantity demanded. And what is demand? Demand is a full description of how the quantity demanded changes as the price of the goods changes. Okay, I can give you certain tips, while you move in your day-to-day life, you can use this fundamentals. If I ask what are your demands, okay, means on your birthday, your demand will be more, because you know there is a supply or some economical fundamental human behavioral is attached to it. हाँ, आज आपका बर्थडे है, ओके, तू जो मांगेगा मिल जाएगा. But on any odd day, if you demand something, there might be possibility you may not get, because it is something related with the scenario, the day, the position, and the importance of that particular event. So demand is the full description. I want this, I want that, I want that, but it is not at all possible to get each and everything, because it is associated with the price. So to generate a good chance of getting fulfill the demand, or it is very much necessary to attach it with the price. Okay, so that is the basic definition of demand. If you look at this demand curve, what it shows on x-axis it's showing quantity, and on the y-axis it's showing price. If you observe carefully a point which intersects from line P1 to Q0, you can understand that that point is nothing but the quantity may demanded at this certain price. Okay, and if you move further on point P1 horizontally, the quantity one Q1 rises. Okay, but if you observe P2 and Q0, the P2 is price is more. That's why Q0 is quantity demanded is very less. But P1 to Q1, you can observe that price is less. That's why the quantity demand is very high. So what we can say that it already explains the law of demand. Law of demand simply states that the quantity demanded of goods falls when the price of goods rise. Okay, and vice versa. But we understand vice versa more nice. Provide all the other factors of the buyer. That those factors we are going to see that those factors are going to be unchanged, and only then we can put this law of demand definition. So if I say that, what is law of demand? Law of demand is nothing but the price of the atom decreases, the quantity demanded increases. Are you agree with me on this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Whenever, very good. Whenever the price decreases, what will happen? The quantity demanded will increase. Okay. So this relation we need to understand from this particular graph. This is called as law of demand graph. And in examination, as far as supply and demand concerned, the question is there: what is law of supply? What is law of demand? What is shift in law, shift in graph, or maybe law of equilibrium that we are going to study. So that's why it is very necessary to get this concept very clear, that what is law of demand. Law of demand is nothing but the quantity demanded at a certain price. What is law of demand graph says? It says that if you observe point A1 on the graph, the when the price P1, which is very high, the quantity Q1 demanded is very less. When the price P2 is moderate, the quantity demanded Q2 is also moderate. But when price drop down at P3, the quantity demanded Q3, which is shown on point C, is very high. So this is when you plot a line, you will get a straight line out of it, and this is nothing but the demand relationship at point A, B, C, or at certain price with respect to quantity, and with respect to quantity, the prices. Okay, so it's that's why they are saying vice versa. As the quantity decreases, the price increases. When the quantity increases, price decreases. Okay. Ideally, we are showing this line straight, but in actual scenario, this line never shows such pattern. It is something bell pattern. There is a curve, downward curve with A, B, C. That curve you can observe. So this is nothing but a law of demand. Now, when as it is clearly mentioned in definition, that provided all other factors that affect buyer decisions are unchanged. So what are those factors that we need to study? Take an example of ice cream. If you like to buy ice cream, the quantity demanded of the customer goods such as ice cream depends on what is the price of ice cream, okay, the price of related goods, then consumer's income, consumer test, and consumer expectations about future price and income, and number of buyers. So what we'll do, we will try to discuss one by one the price of ice cream. Now, why price of ice cream plays very important role? Now, if you look at the ice cream commodity, we know that we can buy ice cream from 10 rupees to maybe 200 rupees. This is the variation which we can see in the market. It is totally depend on the brand. But if you like to have a natural ice cream, which may cost you 60 rupees or 70 rupees, or at the same time, you can buy a vanilla ice cream or vanilla ice cream at a 20 rupees, but have limited choice. Okay, but whatever affordable to you, you like to go for that. It is not possible for you to buy a natural ice cream or basket Robinson. There are a number of ice cream parlors, ice cream and stone. So this you may not go there frequently just because of higher price. But if you ask to buy a vanilla ice cream on daily basis, which cost you maybe a small cup of 5 rupees, okay, so you may go for that also. Second, a price of related goods. Now, what is meant by price of related goods? If you are buying a ice cream of particular brand, and at the same time, if you are getting the same taste at a local brand, okay, the taste is, suppose it is something like that Khatri ice cream, Mastani and Naturals. Naturals we can consider that the international brand. Khatri and Mastani is something related to which capture only Pune market. Okay, so in that case, again you are going to decide where I like to go. So price related of related good is going to play very important role. If the whatever natural ice cream is giving you at 70 rupees, the same taste, same quantity, if you are getting at a Khatri ice cream at a 40 rupees, definitely you like to go over there. But what we are considering in law of demand, these things are constant. कि भाई उसका भी 70 रुपीज रहेगा, इसका भी 70 रुपीज रहेगा. This is the second ये. Then take an example of consumers' income. Now, when we talk about consumers' income, suppose Ramesh is there and he wants to buy ice cream. Okay, he used to buy vanilla ice cream, which cost him 10 rupees on a daily basis. He is very fond of ice cream, and he used to eat ice cream in any season every day. But he cannot afford more than that because his pocket money not allowing him, or his financial situation is not allowing him to buy a higher quality or higher price ice cream at that time. पर अगर कल जाके पता चला कि रमेश को लॉटरी लग गई, ठीक है, and there is now almost 5 crore rupees is in pocket. So what will happen? Now he may shift to other brand. So what we are considering that उसको लॉटरी नहीं लगने वाली है कभी भी, ठीक है. Second, after that there is a consumer test. Now what is the consumer test? Do you know that the test of our tongue used to change over the period of time? Means suppose most of the kids like uh, भिंडी की सब्जी, but over the period of time they don't like it. ठीक है. The same thing happened with each and every commodity and the customer, that at a certain period they like a particular commodity or particular product, but over the period of time their taste may change. Okay. So we are considering that that taste is also not going to change. And consumer expectations about future price and income. So what we are expecting that, as I told you, that onion example, right now it's a 50 rupees per kg, but now the production is very high. That's why uh, price goes down and it comes to the 20 rupees. So ultimately, what will happen? The quantity demanded will increase or the consumption rate will increase. Then your demand law of demand graph is not going to work. So that's why we are considering that whatever may be the price, the consumer expectations about the future price is not going to affect on the consumer buying pattern. At the same time, last point says that number of buyers should be constant. It should not be like that number of buyers will increase over the period of time. So these things we are taken into consideration, that these things will remain constant. Then this law of demand says that the quantity demanded of a good is inversely related to the price, provide all other factors unchanged. Which are those factors? The factors which we discussed above. This is clear. Which are the factor, or any confusion on this factor, or do you have any question related to this? Aditya,
No, no, sir.
Omkar,
No, sir.
clear? Everything is Sunny.
Yes,
Sunny,
sir.
yeah,
Everything is
that's
clear.
yeah, that's great. Okay. Now we are talking about the situation. If certain situation increases, what exactly happens to this demand graph or law of demand graph? Take a simple situation that in one column the prices are given, which varies from 0 to 3 rupees, and there is one situation called situation A and situation B. The quantity demanded in situation A and situation B are different. Situation A 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. And in situation B, it is 20, 16, 12, 8, 6, 4, and 2. So how can we explain the difference in behavior of situation A and B? And why does consumption is more in B is, at every possible price? So if you look at this, you come to know that if I select the commodities, if one commodity is suppose petrol and another commodity is something buying a garment. Okay. Now situation A is nothing but a garment. It means in situation A maybe price is 12, okay, price is 0, the quantity demanded will be 12, and at 3 because it is now very costly it may be 0. But petrol is a essential commodity. Even at when prices are very less, people will use petrol like anything, just like they are in Dubai, okay, or they are traveling in UAE. or whenever most of the people go to Goa. Or now this is now in current situation, Goa also rises their taxes. But before maybe 4 5 years, Goa used to sell petrol at 30 rupees and 40 rupees per liter. Okay, so you are not going to bother in situation B. And as the price start increasing, what you can see that the particular pattern will go down. Then at point 0.5, 16 people will start using it. At 3, it will go up to 2. But as an essential commodity, they cannot avoid it. So they will go for situation B. Now, what will be the change in the demand graph? There is nothing will change in the demand graph or law of demand graph. It will only shift from one position to another position. Where you can see that first line may be applicable for situation A and second line may be applicable for situation B. So this is called as quantity demand situation based demand graph. This is also called as a shift in the demand. Clear? Now, shift in the demand, market demand curve are caused by change in when it is possible. It may be possible just because consumers' income, just like lottery lag gayi. Then prices of related goods. The prices of related goods increase drastically, so there is a shift in the demand. Means you like to buy, suppose, a particular atom like a pen, cello gripper, and there is one more pen called Renault. Okay? Initially, the cost of both the commodity, Renault pen and the cello gripper, is almost same. Suppose 10 rupees, but uh, by making some changes, Renault increases their price by suppose 10 from 10 to 14 rupees. So what will happen in that case? Initially, the consumption rate or the demand of both the atoms are at individual level. But now, as the Renault price increases, what customer will do? He will try to shift from Renault to cello gripper, and the demand of cello gripper will increase, and the demand of Renault pen will decrease. Why? Just because of price. So whenever there is change in price of one commodity, it may advantages or disadvantages for cello gripper or other product that we need to. Then test, change in test, as I already explained you. If there is change in test of the consumer, there might be possibility that they start liking or they start using the other product, and the demand of that product will increase. Then expectations, say about future price and prospect. There are always expectations. Okay, when we look at those expectations, we come to know that okay, tomorrow it is not performing well, but it may be possible that they can give me good returns in future. It is something like that when you used to take the financial decision, or if you want to invest your money. Such type of expectations are there. When we say the policies and all insurance companies plays a role with sell their products, there these expectations will play very important role. And number of buyers, if number of buyers increases without any reason or maybe with reason, it is again going to shift the demand curve. Now, please tell me, suppose there are 60 students in the class. Okay. Have you ever seen a mask at your home? We never see a mask at our home. Okay. But now, the COVID-19 situation, uh, due to the COVID-19 situation, we are buying masks. Okay, so what number of buyers? Mask was there in the market also, before also, but the number of buyers increases drastically. So what happened? Even they started increasing the price of the product also. Then government says them you cannot increase the price, so price will remain same, but still the number of buyers increases. So such situation can occur. That is called as shift in the market demand curve. It may be positive, it may be negative. Now, if you look at D1 curve, okay, demand curve, we are not going to take an example of ice cream because Right now we have better examples too. Now we take an example of sanitizer or maybe mask. There is drastic increase in demand. Okay, without change in price, only the demand is increasing. That is called as the shift. And demand of petrol decreases drastically. It may be prices of petrol may not increase or may increase. Okay, but still the demand uh, will be less because people are not traveling. Okay, if you take an example of hotel industry, if you take an example of any other commodities, so what we'll do, we will do one activity that for looking at the rights, looking at the current situation, can you name some of the atoms which are increasing and some of the atoms which are decreasing, looking at current COVID-19 situation? Swapnil, Swapnil Pandey. Vaishnavi Ahire, what do you think? You can give any example. So there is decrease in demand due to the COVID-19 situation. That's why graph shift. There are n number of examples. Sunny,
Automobile industry.
perfect. Automobile
Automobile
industry,
industry.
yeah, perfect. And have you found any increase in any of the items?
Mobile phones. Mask N95 mask, PPE kits,
Yes, very good. Even data packs,
and
Sanitizers,
yes, sir.
sanitizers, very good.
Wi-Fi number
Sanitizers,
of
hand wash.
number of Wi-Fi.
yeah, Wi-Fi. These people started taking Wi-Fi at their home. People are doing more recharging of data pack
Yes.
in their mobile. Okay? So this is the shift. Now, how company look at that shift? That is totally up to company. I am not aware that they have increased the data pack prices or not because I use postpaid. But there might be possibility looking at the situation. They like to take a demand advantage. Okay, when there is more demand, what they will do, they will try to increase the prices of their product. So this is called as taking advantage of demand to earn more profit. Okay. You people are at least able to correlate with the situation, or you are getting what is exactly going on and why this graph can move and what is the correlation between quantity demanded and price.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we will look at
Yes,
law of,
sir.
yes, thank you. Law of demand. Explanation. There are two ways to explain law of demand. One is substitute effect and another is income effect. This, why this happened? Suppose there is substitute. When the price of goods decreases, consumers substitute that good instead of their competing goods. Just take an example on this line. Suppose you used to buy clothes, you used to buy Coke, you used to buy books, you used to go for movies, you used to buy Pepsi also. When the prices of Coke decreases, what will happen? There will be change in clothes. You will go for more clothes? No. There will be consumption of Pepsi will decrease because the price of Coke decreases. There is a possibility. So what will happen? The consumption of Pepsi will decrease and consumption of Coke will increase. But all other related items will remain same at a consumer level. It's nothing like that. अरे कोक का प्राइस कम हो गया, चलो अपन बुक्स खरीद के लाते हैं और मूवी देख के आते हैं. It's not going to happen. The only effect will be the consumption of Pepsi will decrease and the consumption of Coke will increase. If you look at second effect, it's called as the income effect. Okay, consumer respond to the decrease in price of the commodity as they would increase in income. अचानक अगर income बढ़ गया, so they can go for other products. They will increase their consumption of a wide range of goods, including the goods that had a price decrease. आप जनरली अगर if you go to the shop and if you want to buy a momos, suppose it costs you 60 rupees, and if they says in 60 rupees you get 6, but in 100 rupees you get 12. So what is happening over here? By paying a more, little bit more amount, you are getting double. That is also called as a marketing strategy they are using to increase or scale up their business. Okay. So, but if your income is increased, so what you will do? ले लो यार देख लेंगे क्या होता है. So now again on the scale, we will try to understand. You used to buy clothes, Coke, books, movie, Pepsi. When the price of Coke decreases, what will happen? Consumer feel richer. Because you need to understand one more thing. Uh, if I ask you how many of you are earning, okay, all of you can say yes, we are earning. Because saving is also earning. If you are 100 rupees, okay, if you are not going uh, purchase anything of that 100 rupees, so that 100 rupees is going to be with you. So you will start feeling richer. Okay. So consumer, but we are considering that Pepsi Coke price of Coke decreases because you are very fond of Coke. You used to buy Coke on daily basis, which cost you 10 rupees, but now the price decrease. That's why there is a increment of 2 rupees in your income indirectly. Actually, it is not your income, but there is an increase in your income. But here we are talking about the income of the individual is increased. What will happen? The consumption of coke and other goods will increase because पैकेट में बहुत पैसा आ चुका है already. ठीक है? This is called as a income effect. Now, most of the people looking at the current situation, most of the people are thinking how we need to drive our economy. So income effect is going to play very important role. Now there is job losses, there is cut in salary, everything is happening. So people are not at all spending. They are trying to spend as much less as possible. So just because of that, it is very difficult to drive the economy unless and until you are not going to put money into the pocket of individual. They are not going to buy something. They are not going to buy something. So the economy cannot be moved. Most of the people start cutting down their expenses. They don't want to buy clothes. They don't want to buy books. They don't want to go to the restaurant. They don't want any extra activity which will cost them. So that we need to understand. But as soon as they will get money, they will start ex- uh, they will start spending money on all the activities, and economy will move. So this is the idea about income shift. Now coming back to the supply, supply represents how much the market can offer. Now this is very tricky to understand. A supply is something the person who is producing it is ready to offer. Now what it says, the quantity supplied refers to the amount of a certain good produced are willing to supply when receiving a certain price. वो बोलता है ना, मेरा आम है, मैं सोचूंगा कितने में बेचना है. ठीक है? Means if you go to the shop to buy apple and they told you it's a 800 rupees kg. So you may say that why you are saying 800 rupees? I don't want to purchase. Okay? Because I am expecting that the price of apple should be 200 rupees kg. So supplier will decide at what price he want to sell. But he want to sell at any cost. So what he will do, he will try his level best to keep the price at a certain level where buyer should get attracted. Now the correlation between price and how much of the goods or service is supplied to the market is known called as a supply relationship. Okay, it is the correlation between price and how much of the goods or services is supplied. So this relation, supply of goods and the price. That's why price is the reflection of supply and demand also, because price is law. What law of supply says? The law of supply states that quantity supplied of the goods rises when the price of the goods rises. as long as all basic, what is the difference between law and whatever is driven? Law is something, if I keep all these things constant, definitely I will get this result. That is called as, which has certain assumption, and we are following those assumption is called as law. So quantity supplied of the good rises as the price of good rises. How many of you agree or got confused with this term? Yes, do you agree? Tanmay, Sneha,
Sir, yes.
do you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is a very natural phenomenon that quantity supplied of the good rises at the price of good rises, because from a supplier's point of view, you need to understand that if you say this apple is 500 rupees kg, so who is going to buy? Nobody is going to buy those products. It will remain at that place only. So ultimately, supply will be available in ample amount. But as soon as if he says 100 rupees, what will happen? The price goes down and the quantity supplied will get drained. आपने देखा होगा ये फिलोसॉफी अपना ये जो रहते स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स रहते वो भी यूज करते हैं. वो बोलते हैं ना 100 का माल 50 में, 100 का माल 50 में, 100 का माल 50 में. व्हाट दे आर ट्राइंग टू से दैट अगेन एंड अगेन price of the good is less, so ultimately they want to drain their supply, or they want to exhaust their quantity whatever they have. But law of supply exactly put it oppositely, that quantity of supply rises when the price of good rises. That is the basic fundamental behind law of supply. Here you can see that as price goes up, the quantity supplies goes up, and as price goes down, the quantity supplied goes down, because everybody will start buying, so he might be not in position to supply those commodities. This is a law of supply graph. What is happening over here? When price is less, quantity supplied by the supplier is less. Quantity demanded nahi yahan pe, quantity supplied. We are talking about supply. That's why quantity supply. And in demand graph, we talk about price versus quantity demand. We are not talking here about demand. We are talking here about quantity supply. When price is very high, suppose at point C, price is P3, the quantity supplied will be Q3. This is the basic difference. Because if you look at XY axis of law of demand and law of supply, what is the difference? On law of demand, on x-axis quantity demanded versus price, and in law of supply, quantity supply versus price. Now it is more clear. That is called as a supply relationship. So this is all about law of supply and law of demand. Now what we are going to do, as this is the last lecture, you might be feeling exhausted, so we will stop here. In the next lecture, we will again go through all, or we will revise what is law of supply, what is law of demand, and then we will move to the next topic, which is called as equilibrium in supply and demand graph. How we can achieve that equilibrium, that we will discuss, and then after that we will start with the next topic. So is it okay?